it's not.
Oh! Goodbye. Seriously, gone. Goodbye. Bye. Bye, Samantha.
The 2013 science fiction romance film Her, detailing the blossoming of a relationship between a lonely man and his seductively voiced and artificially intelligent operating system, takes place in Los Angeles of the slight future. This thoughtful and rather optimistic vision of an eventual society that utilizes discrete and ergonomic technology to enhance human life and clean the environment has been consistently praised for its inventive and practical design. The basis for these ideas originate in writer-director Spike Jonze' Oscar-winning original screenplay, but Jones focused primarily on developing the romance and dialogue between the characters during the early scriptwriting process. It wasn't until the pre-production phase that he, along with production designer K.K. Barrett, began to consider and discuss the details of a possible near future. Barrett, who received an Academy Award nomination for his work on Her, had previously collaborated with Jones on all three of his earlier feature films, as well as several music videos earlier in their careers, which demonstrate his prior experience in creating mildly surreal worlds that are tangential to a reality in present time. To build the world for Her, Barrett started his process by asking Jones questions to better understand the characters and fundamental themes of the story, and develop an emotional sense for the visuals. Then, along with cinematographer Hoyt van Hoytma and other members of the design team, they searched for evocative images to serve as inspiration for the look and feel of the movie. One such source was Japanese photographer Rinko Kawauchi, whose influence can be seen in the warm and soft pastel primary color scheme of the film. The muted, desaturated palette of colors and the stoically minimalist geometry of the environment and technology which surround Theodore convey and heighten his sense of loneliness and isolation. The brighter hues of reds and pinks, which can be seen accenting each scene and nearly every shot of the film, are emblematic of Theodore's solitary existence within his world, and also serve as a reminder of his capacity and desire for love. With the visuals and mood of the film established, Barrett then moved on to translating those themes and ideas into physical locations by coordinating with set decorator Gene Sardana and the crew in charge of construction. For Theodore's apartment, Barrett chose the top floor of the Watermark Tower in downtown LA for its large floor-to-ceiling windows, which provide an impressive view of the city, making the location more inviting and providing for exterior sources of light. Additionally, the visual juxtaposition of Theodore alone surrounded by an entire population of strangers is another detail which emphasizes his loneliness. The interior of the apartment, which was entirely painted white, had wooden floors and wall partitions installed to give the space a warmer tone, while still providing an open and comfortable layout. Barrett next began to select and design props to place around the apartment that would elevate and support his characterization. Reflecting Theodore's recent separation from his wife, the large empty space is only sparsely littered with half-unpacked belongings. Compare this to when the same location is used for his friends Amy and Charles's apartment, which is fully furnished with seating for guests and has pictures hanging upon the walls. The space is bright and full of plants, contrasting Theodore's dim and scattered living space. Most of these items appear to be boxes, paintings, and books. There are letters, pens, and other stationery materials on his desk, which tie in with his job as an author at beautifulhandwrittenletters.com. This occupation, and the practice of writing letters on the obsolete and outdated medium of paper, highlights Theodore's romanticism and attitude of nostalgia. In the futuristic world of Her, most of the technology is invisible, or has imperceptibly disappeared into everyday life, with voice-operated interfaces, touchscreens, tiny earpieces, and pocket-sized communication devices. Theodore's deliberate use of antiquated technology, as most clearly evidenced in the scene of his retreat to a snowy cabin in the woods, where he uses a stove and a fireplace, relates to his inability to move on from the past, and more precisely, his divorce. This is reinforced by the retro-stylistic designs of most of Theodore's technology, such as this hinged device, which was built by the production team from an antique address book. As one of the film's main concerns is whether or not love can transcend the physical, extraneous and distracting design was removed in favor of user and environmentally friendly technology, conceived to be as unobtrusive and comfortable as possible, rather than acting as a hindrance to human connection and experience. This meant eliminating the busy, noisy distractions of the present to instead force consideration for the dilemmas of love and complex relationships, which technology alone cannot solve. It is for this reason, along with the difficulty and cost of designing and manufacturing hundreds of vehicles of the future for the background, that virtually no cars are seen, apart from a few shots of an airport taxi halfway through the film. In order to accommodate the lack of automobile traffic, the production opted to film the majority of the larger exterior shots in the ultra-modern Pudong district in Shanghai, China, characterized by its dense, stylized skyscrapers and elevated pedestrian walkways. To combine the cities of Shanghai and Los Angeles into one blended metropolis, the two locations were edited together to imply continuity, allowing Barrett and Jones to select the ideal elements of both. For example, these scenes in front of the Walt Disney Concert Hall and Pacific Design Center, where Theodore sees a computer-generated sculpture of an airplane, were filmed in California, whereas the scenes at the Wujiasheng Station and inside of the Zendai Himalaya Center were shot in China. As was this scene in Z-Bar, the cave-like restaurant where Theodore goes on his begrudging date, which features banded and striped plasterboard wall sections, which were designed to form a Boolean subtraction of hundreds of slices of an amorphous blob, which visually suggests the film's thematic interest in finding love within a digital world, while also providing an aesthetically interesting backdrop. The skyline visible in scenes shot at the large circular pedestrian bridge in Lujiaozui and other exterior locations was composited from buildings of both Shanghai and Los Angeles for the sake of consistency. This all results in a believably tangible setting that complements and elevates the themes and material of the story, while providing a hopeful prediction of practical and desirable human technological integrations.